Hello, my name is Eddie, the brains behind the blog known as Wichita by EB, and I'd like to welcome you to the Editorial, a podcast or safe space of sorts to share opinions with other different guests on a wide variety of topics that may spark your interest or lead you to find another podcast. Whether it's interviews, top 10 lists, 30 minutes of mindless banter, this is the Editorial.
There's plenty to talk about and plenty to do, so get the gossip, get the scoop, and tune right into the editorial to keep you in the loop. It's the Editorial, a Wichita by EB podcast.
Welcome to the Editorial. Today should be an exciting episode. My guest host today, returning, is the Kansas gastronomist. No introductions needed there. But our other guest for the first time is Melanie Addington with the Tallgrass Film Association.
That's right.
Okay,
yeah.
I was like, man, I hope I get this right. I didn't write any notes. Welcome, Melanie.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So, total transparency, I'm not entirely well-versed in what you guys do.
Yeah.
You know, I see the posts, I see the events taking place. I've been by the building over at the Lux.
Yeah.
And so if you can just tell me and tell the listeners what's up at Tallgrass.
Yeah, so our festival was founded 21 years ago, and it was just a once-a-year event. And when I got here 2.5 years ago now, longtime programmer Nick said, hey, we always wanted to open our own space, and we couldn't. And Mama Film, who was open during the pandemic, decided to go a little more roving venues. And so we took over her space, and we now run a micro cinema year-round. So we partner with all kinds of people. Spectrum Music, we're about to start doing a soundtrack, spinning records and showing the films of the best soundtracks, and work with all kinds of people to do fun movies year round. So yeah, we do that. We created a film alliance, so we're trying to help educate and improve filmmakers in the area.
And you guys just had a huge event.
We just had our big 21st. Yeah, finally legal. That was our big spiel.
And I know TKG's a big fan of what you guys do. He's attended the past, 2 years now?
I was not able to make it this past year, but I did go the year before. I've been at least 3 times.
Yeah.
2.5 years ago, would that have been the year that it was all online? Or?
No, so I came the year after, 2021. I got
Okay.
hired after they went virtual. They didn't have an executive for about a year. So I got hired out of Oxford, Mississippi, where I was running a film festival. SEC fans know that's Ole Miss. So
Was the year that the big film was God Save the Wings? Was that
that was
2021?
2021. Yeah.
So
that was my
your
first.
Okay, that was an excellent year.
Thank you. Yeah.
I love Tallgrass. I don't remember if that was my number one favorite event on
that was a
previous
real fun
podcast,
event.
but,
Yeah.
It's funny because I had a good friend that talked to me multiple years, hey, you got to go. And, honestly, it didn't sound that appealing. And I went just for a day or maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to, because isn't it like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
It's a 4-day
Sunday?
full immersive. Yeah.
So I went like the Saturday and Sunday and just had an amazing time and said, next year I'm doing the full thing.
Yeah.
And I did it and
Good.
loved it.
Yeah.
I could go on and on.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, we love doing it.
So what is the festival? You said it takes place over 4 days.
Yeah, it's 4 days. So we start December 1st again for next year, watching films from all over the world, several thousand films. And we narrow it down to about less than 200. And so it's films that are local. There's films from the region, and then there's films from literally all over the world. And it's anything from a short experimental film, animation, documentary, narrative, and then features.
And so you guys go through all these films. Then during the 4-day festival, people just congregate and watch all these films all day
the
long?
festival part is a lot of eating and drinking and parties. And then we also throw on education. So we have panels. So we bring in distributors and producers and just talk about all kinds of industry things. Obviously, right now, there's a huge strike happening still with our actors. So
how many movies and films would you say are made locally a year?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's some that don't go through us. In fact, The Seeds just premiered at the Orpheum, which was a great screening. So I would say maybe 4 to 10 features in the state, and then shorts. There's always somebody shooting every weekend.
What's the definition of a short? Like, is there
Less than 40 minutes if you
go.
go by the Academy Award qualifying. Yeah.
So we could technically make like a little short and submit it.
Yeah, please don't make a 40-minute short.
Are
I
you
don't know
thinking-
why that's the rule.
Eddie, are you thinking you and me? Or
Yeah, I love
no,
it.
a food travel video. Who
Oh my
knows?
gosh.
that'd be cool.
I would watch that. We love food films. In fact, we joined with Niche this year, or whatever they call it.
Yeah, or the WC Tech
Yeah,
culinary
yeah,
area.
thank you. Yeah, and did some food films. There was one about pizza, which was great. And
Were they like discussing the history of it, or
it's actually a place in Naples was trying to actually become a Michelin star pizzeria, and there's not a single one in the entire world.
Michelin
Star Pizzeria.
And where did you say that was at?
Well, it's actually a Kansas filmmaker, but it was set in Naples, Italy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I won't tell you what happened, but
I
You know-
would have thought there was at least one.
there's not
culinary.
a
That's
single
crazy.
pizzeria.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I was in thinking about this podcast today. I was thinking about what my favorite part of Tallgrass Film Festival is, and for me, it's you go with a friend, and you'll start the day off, and you'll both go to the same movie, and it's usually a movie that you wouldn't see but for being there.
Sure.
And you've got your list, and one movie might be at 1:15 that you really want to see at one venue, and your friend or friends want to see a different movie at 1:30.
Yeah.
And so you go your separate ways. And for the tall pass holders, which is like the elite pass, right?
Yeah, it's the VIP. You get access to everything.
You know, that's where you can go afterwards and meet back up. But while you're waiting to meet back up, you're introducing yourself to new people at a table, breaking bread,
Yeah.
talking about what movies they've seen.
Yeah.
And it's just such a cool way to get to know people.
It really is.
It's
And it gives
unique.
you, you know, especially I'm an introvert, but like automatically you have access to something that you have in common. You just watched a movie together. So it's such a nice way to meet new people.
Yes.
And this takes
Yeah.
place at the.
All over downtown. Yeah. You know, we have our year round in the Lux, and then we use the Orpheum, Scottish Rite. Yeah, all over the place.
School. And when does this event take place every year?
Well, we did just announce next year's date, so I can say it. It's October 24th through 27th in 2024. A little
October.
later than normal.
Yeah, October's a super busy time. But
It
that's pretty
is.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we the first weekend was too busy, so we're pushing back.
Yeah. Well, movies is a good segue. So,
Yeah.
like, how we do this podcast is we usually share like a list. I'm a big list guy. I love lists. I know some people are anti-list. I saw on your Threads page.
Yeah, somebody did not like the idea of
Somebody's
a
like, oh,
list.
it's so, what do you say, like, overdone or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like to do things overdone except steaks. Overdone steaks, no way. So, because you're a big, I mean, we'll say film connoisseur, you watch hundreds.
Too many movies. Oh, yeah, at least.
I thought it'd be cool to share our top 10 movies list.
Yeah.
And I know since both of you guys have attended the event, like my list will not be anywhere near as refined as yours.
No, you have no
Like,
idea.
I'm like mine's immature. Like, someone's like, did a 5-year-old come with
Is
that
it
list?
all Marvel films?
Actually,
I have a Marvel
I
film
don't
on
think there's
mine.
a single Marvel film of mine. If one did make it, I think it'd be Avengers: Civil War. I think that's
Oh,
what.
it's a beautiful film,
That
actually.
is,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's the only one I'd make it. But no, I do love Marvel films. So I think everybody has their list ready to go.
I do.
I've got mine.
All right, let's go ahead and kick it off with number 10.
All right.
TKG.
TKG's number 10 is going to be Patch Adams. Love Robin Williams. You know, it's obviously based off of a true story about a guy that decides when he's in his 40s to go to medical school and decides that he's going to help patients not just with their exterior health, but their internal health. And it's a beautiful movie. And I mean, I tear up pretty much every single time I watch it.
Yeah, we have a term in our industry called biopic, which often is a little generic, but that one's so well done. And I think it's because Robin Williams just really brings to life that guy.
Yes.
I think as we discussed our list, we're gonna think in our heads like, man, there are movies I left off my list.
Oh,
And
100.
I'm
I'm
so
already
mad
like,
about it.
oh man.
I love Robin Williams, and my favorite movie of his is Dead Poet Society.
oh, it's
Yes.
And then like I didn't even make my list or my
Me
honorable
either.
mentions. I'm
yeah,
like,
no,
dang it.
I didn't pick any Robin Williams.
All right,
Now I'm sad.
Melanie, number 10.
Okay, well, so I couldn't do this assignment. It is so impossible.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
did by decade.
That's fine. Give us.
I'm
going
going to start with the 40s,
Okay.
which is Double Indemnity, which is a beautiful, beautiful film noir.
Is there a remake of it or anything like that?
I don't know if there's a remake, honestly.
I don't know if I've seen it.
Yeah.
What is it about?
So it's about an insurance man who meets this woman who he tries to sell her insurance. And then it comes into this love affair where she wants to basically, there's a double indemnity clause where if the person dies by a certain way, you can't. So he ends up in love with this woman, trying to kill her husband, along with trying to scam his own insurance company.
Okay.
And it is just one of the best films of the 40s.
I'm going to write that down.
It's a wonderful, wonderful
You
film.
said it was in the 1980s?
40s.
1940s. Wow. Okay. We're going back far.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to look online, and there's a remake in 1973.
Really?
Yes.
I'll have to watch that.
There's another movie that I'm thinking of in 1999 called Double Jeopardy. It's kind of a similar.
It's very similar vibe.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But my number 10, totally off the wall here. I mean, I'm going off of movies that I personally enjoy watching, that I can watch over and over. A lot of stuff when I watched when I was a kid and whatnot. Probably not on a lot of people's list, but my number 10 is Bloodsport.
Oh, no, that's a great film.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Man.
I love
Man.
all the Van Damme movies, but that's number one
That's
for me.
like one of the height
Yeah.
of action films,
Yeah.
too.
I mean, the
so.
Kumite and like the fight pretty much till you die or whatever. Like I was enamored by it as a kid. I was like, I want to get into martial arts. I went to Kim's Taekwondo not too long after like getting involved in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, got up to a green belt, but I think
Nice.
I quit because I got tired of my ass getting kicked.
I watched all of those growing up. My cousin owns a dojo, so that is all we watched all the time.
Kickboxer, all
of
the
them.
good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Eddie, I never told you this, but I actually took Okinawa and Goju-Ryu
Whoa.
for about seven years.
Years.
Really?
okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Well, I'm impressed that you took Taekwondo.
I mean, I was also like I think 10 years old, and
Yeah.
I made it to like I started off at white belt, then yellow, then green. I stopped at green, and
Oh.
okay.
I was like, I'm out.
Okay.
All right, number 9. What do you got, TKG?
TKG's number 9 is Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. I guess I learned a new
You really like
term.
joyful films.
I like movies that touch your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you taught me a new word, biopic. So
Biopic.
another biopic.
Yeah.
I've got several, not all of them. But I think pretty much everybody's seen it. But a guy that's down on his luck, is homeless, taking care of his 5-year-old kid, trying to accomplish the American dream, and doing whatever he can to make a better life, to pursue happiness. And I mean, it's just a great movie.
Melanie.
Yeah. Sunset Boulevard, 1950s.
1950. I got to write this
Yeah.
down too.
Norma Ray. It's,
You can also listen to the podcast recording later as well. I want to need an additional listen.
I also have a printout I'll hand to you after. Yeah.
Get a copy of
It's
that.
one of the best films of all American cinema, and it is really a scathing look at Hollywood in the 50s and sort of how we throw away women when they hit a certain age in Hollywood.
Interesting.
Also, she goes really batshit crazy. Oh, wait, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to
Say whatever you want. I've heard worse. My number 9 is The Departed.
Oh, yes.
a great
Of
film.
course.
I love crime dramas, and the cast was, it's phenomenal. I was trying to remember who all was in it, and
Yeah.
I mean, Jack Nicholson, you got Leo, Matt Damon, Wahlberg, Martin Sheen. It was like a who's who, and just it was quite a long movie, but I just loved it all the way to the end. And I'm not going to give away the end.
That's Scorsese,
No.
right? Because his latest one is amazing, but it's not on my top 10.
Didn't that get nominated for Best Picture even?
I think so, or
Which
at least a few things.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
It made Eddie's top 10 list. I know that much.
Wow! Congratulations, Martin Scorsese.
All right, number 8. You got TKG.
Okay, so in line with the last two, Field of Dreams. Obviously,
Good movie.
everybody's
Good
seen
movie.
that. Kevin Costner. Don't need to reiterate what it's about, but if you build it, they will come.
And they will make your list.
Yes, exactly.
Melanie.
Eyes Without a Face, 1960s. It's a really wonderful horror film that has had music written about it, had a Simpsons reference. It's one of those things that you've probably seen references to and didn't know what they were talking about, but it's that movie.
Really?
Yeah. And it's spot on. The title is exactly.
During the holidays, like I do these movie binges, so this is going to be a good reference for me.
Yeah, that's a great film.
When was it?
1960, I don't know, maybe 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's great. It's black and white.
My number 8 is Sixth Sense.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Just I remember the first time watching it, just the amount of pause I had, and I love movies that make you think at the end. Like once, I don't know if you've ever seen movies like, was it Gone Girl or Gone Baby Gone with the child being abducted and whatnot.
Yeah.
The endings of movies, like when I can watch a movie and the ending hits and I have no idea it's coming, and then I sit in the theater or at home for 5 minutes afterwards, I was like, what the hell just happened? And the Sixth Sense ending and just the whole movie was just awesome. I loved it. I'm not big in horror movies. I do love some of them, but that one was just amazing to me.
It's a great film.
It's got the best line ever. Yeah. I see dead people.
I know.
I that's been on my list. I've got to do a post that incorporates that reference.
What's that kid's name again? Is it
Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be, 30 now? 20?
Yeah.
All right. Number 7.
TKG's number 7 is The Big Lebowski.
Oh,
so I had to
well.
throw some humor out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Great movie, obviously.
We throw a whole event around it every year, Dude Grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We watch
Okay.
it and bowl and eat pizza and drink White Russians.
Where is that at? Is that at?
It's now at Seneca Bowl.
Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Because they have the ball.
Yeah.
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 Dude, the dude abides.
The dude abides.
Yes.
He's a real dude, too. There's a documentary about the real guy.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
I did not know
His name is
that.
Jeff Dowd. You should look him up.
Jeff Dowd.
Okay.
He is exactly that character.
I won't write that down because I will listen to the podcast and get that information.
All right. Melanie.
I again going by decade, Godfather 2, but this I don't know if it's my number 7. It's really probably one of my top films, but better than the original or the third. I think it's one of the best films ever made.
So I've never seen Godfather 1, 2, 3. I know it's like,
Oh my gosh.
I think everybody has that movie they've never seen. You know?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh my gosh, like the other day, my girlfriend's never seen Hocus Pocus.
Oh yeah,
So
wow.
we were like, oh my gosh. So we had a big movie night in our backyard and watched Hocus Pocus.
Oh, that's fun.
But yeah, Godfather for me is like that movie. And I
Yeah.
don't know if it's just because the time commitment of, if I watch 1, I have to watch 2. Then I have to watch 3.
I mean, you don't have to watch
Yeah.
3.
I've heard that, but like I'm a completionist.
Yeah.
And like if I watch anything like The Matrix, I have to watch all of them. You
Okay,
know?
but have you watched The White Lotus on HBO?
I have not.
Oh, okay. There's a big
Neither.
reference point to Godfather.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that will be my holiday thing to do. Is like knock
Ooh.
out
I think
Godfather
that would
1,
be
2, and
good.
3.
Yeah, it's a heartwarming family drama for the holidays.
My number 7 is, I wanted to put at least one sports movie on there, and Field of Dreams was so close to making it, but I was like, let's do the one I've watched the most, and for me that's The Sandlot.
Oh, I love Sandlot.
Like just the kids. Like I mean, we're growing up for me. Like there's a little back area we used to play, baseball, football, whatever in, and just the camaraderie between the kids and just everything about that movie I love.
Yeah, it's a great film.
I love The Sandlot.
I'm adding all
watched
of
it
these
so
onto my
many
list.
times.
Yeah, and I think I saw on Instagram not too long ago, like all the kids got back together for a picture.
Oh,
of,
really?
like, I think it's like 30th anniversary. It was something along those lines. And
It's awesome.
all right, number 6.
Number 6, TKG's number 6 is The Truman Show, which
Oh, yeah.
I know is kind of odd.
Carrie.
Yeah, so obviously he ends up living a fake life, a life where he's
Like
being
all of us
filmed.
now on
Yeah,
social media.
Social media, essentially.
Yeah.
Precursor
So-
to its time.
yeah, that just loved it, found it absolutely fascinating, and in a way somewhat realistic. So
It is now, for sure. Yeah. Oh, mine. Okay, here's my Marvel film, Howard
Ooh.
the Duck.
Ooh.
Yes.
I have not seen that. I
Really?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So it failed, and it's not the best movie ever made, but that movie made Marvel sit back another 10 years and go, okay, what do we need to do? And created the right technology later in the future to have, like Civil War, like we were just talking. So he did a lot of things too, though. There's actually this practical effect that happens with the Duck when he's in a Lazy Boy that they then borrowed to use for the Matrix technology. So the Matrix films only happened because of Howard the Duck is my big claim.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
That is definitely something I got to watch.
That's been. I mean, when that movie come out, do you have that listed?
It's in the 80s, like maybe 83.
I mean, yeah, the 80s is probably the last time I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, you were a kid.
Well, we show it for free every year in our micro cinema, so you guys will
But
have to
it's
come.
nothing to feel bad about because I mean I've never seen The Godfather. That's
There
and
you
that's like I remember I was googling like top movies of all time and like Godfather 2 one was like all these lists and I just need to knock it out. All right, my number 6 is Fight Club.
Oh, yes.
It's one of those like
Stop talking about it right now.
yeah yeah
First
it's
rule.
one of those movies that just make you think again towards the end and one part I do love about that is like Edward Norton. I love his stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's another Edward Norton movie that's on my list. Another one just missed out, which was American History X. But
Oh yeah, it's an amazing film. I
Fight
never
Club-
want to watch it again. Though.
oh no, it's like one of those movies you watch one time and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe it just happened.
That's
and
scarred in my brain for the rest of my
it
life.
sits in you, and you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I can watch that again. But that first time, it's incredible movie.
Yeah.
As we're going through our list, these movies that everybody's seen that the people love, they all have like that one line. The first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk. I mean, everybody knows exactly what you're talking about. It's it's quite interesting.
Right. That's what I love about movies. They connect you.
Yeah.
You could, have never met before, like
Yeah.
the three of us, and we are like all know the same line,
Yeah.
which is great.
Like movies, food, just two things you can
Yeah.
you
Oh,
can
yeah.
always connect on.
Absolutely.
All right, number 5.
Number 5 for TKG. I just put Lord of the Rings.
Which one of the three?
Probably number 2.
Yeah.
I love the scene when Frodo is giving up and Sam is talking about you got to keep going.
Yeah.
And I mean, that moment, I think it's towards the end of number 2.
Yeah.
And it just seems like there's no hope.
Yeah.
And it's just that moment, like that's what Lord of the Rings is to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched all of them, and I don't think I can recall a single thing from those movies outside of like like My Precious and
Oh, sure.
it just I mean it's like I watched all the Harry Potters and I have like no recollection of that for me. I don't know.
Wow.
See, I read all of the books.
Same.
And I actually, if I remember correctly, I read all the books within like 5 days and then went
Oh, wow.
by myself to the movie theater
Yeah.
to watch, I think it was number 2, but to watch one of the films.
No shame. I see movies by myself all the time. I've been doing it for the longest time because my thought process is you don't talk during movies, so like why does it matter if you go?
I
with someone?
prefer going by myself. Like when my friends are like, I want to talk. I'm like, can you shut up? It's
Yeah.
a movie.
All right, what do you got, Melanie?
Spirited Away. 2000s Hayao Miyazaki. I mean, I like anything Miyazaki, but my son and I, that's the film we connected on when he was really young. And so he's now a huge fan and we love everything he does. So
I'm not going to lie, I feel very uncultured right now.
How do you think I feel? Especially when I see my number 5. My number 5 is Dumb and Dumber.
Oh,
I had to put at least one comedy in there. And
No, that's a good one.
It was between that and I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan, and so I thought about.
ooh, what's your Adam Sandler? Just
Yeah.
off the list. Let's do an Adam Sandler round.
So, I mean, it's between Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Big Daddy.
Yeah, I love that too. It's a feel good movie, kind of like Wedding Singer. Love that one as well.
Oh, I love Wedding Singer. Yeah.
I'd say Happy Gilmore
Yeah.
would be my favorite.
And then like I almost put a Chris Farley movie in here too. Like I thought about Tommy Boy,
Oh.
but I landed on Dumb and Dumber because that's the one I've seen probably the most, even more recently, and it's just so quotable.
Yeah.
Is the second one Dumb and Dumber?
Yes.
Well, there's also a prequel one
Yeah.
that doesn't have them called Dumb and Dumber. I thought like 2, like TOO or something like that.
Yes, that's right.
That was really bad.
Yeah.
Not
Some
on that
things
list.
you just got to leave alone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
All right.
Godfather 3.
Number 4. What do you got, TKG?
TKG's number 4 is a recent film. Curious if either of you have seen it, The Whale.
Oh, yeah.
With Brendan
It's
Fraser.
been on my list to watch.
That is not on my top, but only because it is so traumatic.
It is. It's so good.
Yeah.
Watched it by myself, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie deserves to get Best Picture, I think.
Oh my gosh.
It did win Best Picture. Remember we talked about
Oh,
this?
yeah.
it won.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it pretty- is
I
it
meant
pretty
to say it
sad?
deserved
Yeah.
to
Is
get
Is
Best
it a pretty
Picture.
sad movie?
All the way through.
All the way
It never
Yeah.
gets happier.
Oh, man. Something like that, I don't know if I could do.
It's rough. It's real rough. I had to pause it and take a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I'm not a big fan of is like sad movies. Like,
Well, that is
yeah,
definitely the epitome of sad movie.
I want to feel emotions like anger and whatnot when I watch movies, or laughter, but sadness, I don't know if I can do. Like, I've never watched, was it Marley and Me?
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, after watching, what was that? What's the other movie I'm thinking of way before?
Old Yeller.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
like, nope.
We were all traumatized by that
yeah,
one.
I'm not doing any more of that
Yeah,
stuff.
I agree.
All right, what do you got, Melanie?
Before Sunrise, it's the first part of a trilogy. Richard Linklater, Ethan Hawke, and I forget her name all the time. Julie Delpy, I think. And they meet on a train, and the entire movie is one night. And it's a love story. And then the trilogy later, they meet again 9 years later, and then eventually they end up together like 20 years later. It's a great trilogy.
Do they stay on the train the whole time?
No, they get off the train and
okay.
just wander around the city.
Okay.
And it sounds really simple and boring, but it's not. Somehow, the dynamic between the two of them is wonderful.
So is it a romantic movie or?
It is a romantic movie in sort of a wistful, not really a romantic movie kind of way.
I don't think I have a single romantic movie on my list.
I know.
Me
I had to
either.
throw one. I'm a girl.
What's your favorite romantic movie if you had to choose one? Notebook.
Yeah, we'll go with Notebook. I'm struggling to think of a romantic movie right
That's
now.
the only one that comes on my mind, and I see it on TV all the time. My number 4 is another Edward Norton movie. Yeah, anybody? Any guesses?
I don't know.
It's not the Hulk.
Okay.
It's Rounders.
Oh, Rounders.
Great
I forgot about
movie.
that
Yes.
movie. Yeah.
I love poker,
yeah.
and that's probably my most watched movie behind the number 1 on my list. Just the story and just how Edward Norton is during the whole time, and Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
I love Matt
Yeah.
Damon. I love Ed Norton. He's been amazing.
There's another
Amazing
film
actor.
really similar, Mississippi Grind, which is about an older Ben Mendelsohn.
What's the movie called?
Mississippi Grind.
Grind.
Yeah, I
We
think
need
you'd
to-
like it.
Is it a poker movie?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'd
love
like it.
poker
Oh,
movies.
there you
Yeah.
go. There
Yeah.
you go.
All right, moving on.
Are we on number
Number
3?
3.
Okay, number 3 for TKG. I'll bet you've seen this, Eddie. Signs.
Yes, it's what's the
M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan movie? Yeah,
Yep.
I have.
Yeah, Mel Gibson. And it's about, it starts off and there's glasses of water all throughout the house because the daughter doesn't like to have, she wants fresh water, and aliens come to Earth, which is kind of weird, but then the water kills them. And it's just like one of these things, basically everything
Spoilers.
happens. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Watch it.
I've watched a lot of M. Night
Me
Shyamalan
too. All of them.
movies. I don't think I've watched any of the more recent stuff. If he's put out anything recently,
He has.
Okay.
Old.
Yeah, there's.
The one on the beach.
Yes,
Never watched
I
that
did
one.
see that. I did see that.
I mean, like, was it Mr. Glass? What movie is that? Unbreakable.
Unbreakable.
Yeah, that's probably-
also Bruce Willis.
Yeah, that's probably my
Wonderful.
second favorite one after
Yeah.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Signs, I was kind of iffy on. I was back
Yeah.
and forth on, and
The Village.
I love The Village.
you did. I was kind of back and forth on it.
Oh.
I'm back and forth on Village. Obviously, I love Signs. I mean, it's
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
list, but yeah.
All right, number 3.
Oh,
Wait, that was your number 3.
oh, I
Signs?
did. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like,
Oh,
wait,
you got,
it's
you
me.
got 2 number 3s?
No, I
Okay.
don't.
Melanie.
I have 3. I'm going to go with Swiss Army Man, 2010s.
Yes.
It
I
is Daniel
think I've seen
Radcliffe. Yeah, the Daniels before they made Everything Everywhere All at Once, which could easily be my other favorite. But Swiss Army Man started their career and, their real career. They were doing music videos. Daniel Radcliffe plays a dead body, and Paul Dano is his friend. And that's
it's
all I'm
kinda-
going to say about it.
So it's kind of like Weekend at Bernie's.
It is very bizarrely Weekend at Bernie's.
Okay.
Is that your number one, Eddie? Weekend at Bernie's?
My number 3 is the only comic book movie I have on my list, and it's The Dark Knight.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Just, the joke. Heath Ledger's
Heath
Joker
Ledger.
it's probably one of the most incredible, performances I've seen in my very sheltered movie watching career.
What
Heath Ledger anything is the best. Yeah.
Who's I get confused on all the Batman
Batmans?
actors. Who was the Batman in Dark Knight again?
It's a great
Is that
question.
Christian Bale?
I want to say it's Christian Bale. It's Christopher Nolan was the director.
Yeah.
it was Christian Bale.
Okay. That movie took Batman to like the dark. I mean,
yeah.
I know it's
Oh, yeah.
called Dark Knight, but it went. That's
It
when
actually
it
went
dark.
dark, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like total spoiler alert. You guys have both seen this, right?
I've seen every
Okay.
Batman
Okay.
series.
Yeah, like the scene where Batman has to choose between, saving the girl or the kid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just like that thing. I was like, oh my gosh, what's he gonna do? And such a moving movie. I loved it.
Yeah. It's a great one.
What did he end up doing? I forget.
I have no idea.
Now I have to rewatch it. I
I'd
don't
have to
remember.
rewatch it. It's like one of those things where like you watch these movies so many times you forget certain things.
Is that the same one with the
Harvey-
bomb on the boat, or is that a later one with them?
I know the scene you're talking.
Yeah, but I
about,
can't remember if
but
that's the Dark Knight or if the next one.
Yeah, I'm
Man,
not gonna be able to help.
So now I have to rewatch this. But,
Yeah,
well, I think
obviously.
one of my other favorite characters in Dark Knight was Harvey Dent.
oh yeah, yeah.
Aaron
Yes.
Eckhart, he did a phenomenal job as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And since you asked me that question, people are going to be like, I don't think Eddie actually watched that movie. I promise I did. All right. Number 2.
TKG's number 2 is Good Will Hunting. Love Good Will Hunting, absolutely. And the scene, I won't spoil anything, but where, Matt Damon and who else is in that? I'm blanking right now for some reason.
Oh.
Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck is talking to Matt Damon. He says, every day I come and knock on your door
Oh yeah.
and
great scene.
wait and hope that you won't open it up. I mean, I
Yeah.
butchered that, but
yeah.
that's
That's a romantic movie.
You're right, because you had to go
Yeah.
see about a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
How about the
little bit of
My
romance.
number 2 actually might be a romantic movie too, if you think about it. All right. Melanie, what do you got?
This is where I was deciding. I think I'm going to go with Rebel Without a Cause, 1950s.
Okay.
Interesting.
James Dean.
I've never watched it.
Yeah.
Also referenced by Paula Abdul music video in the 90s.
Which one?
The one where she and Keanu Reeves are doing the car chase, that is direct from Rebel Without a Cause.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The only Paul Abdul song that comes to my head is Straight Up.
Yeah,
Can't
it
think
was
of any of the songs
the,
right
oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the song. It'll come to me randomly.
I'll have to Google it during the
Yeah.
podcast. All right. My number 2 is, I guess it's kind of a romantic movie. It's a drama. It's comedy. It's everything. It's, 3 hours long, something like that. It's Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, Tom Hanks. Like, favorite actor-wise, it's Tom Hanks, Edward Norton, Denzel, and then the comedic actors like, Adam Sandler and whatnot. But Forrest Gump, I mean, the first time I watched this, I was in high school. And after watching it the first time, I went back the next week and then the next week.
Wait, so Denzel Washington was in
No, I'm just saying favorite actors in general.
Oh, okay.
He's not
Got
in it, but yeah, this is a totally Tom Hanks film. But yeah, I love all things Tom Hanks and had to make sure I include one of his movies on here.
I
Sure.
did
And
until
Forrest
the
Gump was
Elvis
for me.
movie.
I watched it and I was kind of like, but
He was the worst part.
because it was Tom Hanks, I'm like, I'll give him a pass.
No.
Forrest Gump, the whole story behind it, just from beginning to end, and the journey. Obviously, Jenny, Little Forrest,
Yeah.
Sally Fields, his mom,
Yeah.
Bubba, just everybody, man.
Another quote. What is it? What's the quote from Forrest Gump?
I mean,
Run,
I know.
Forrest, run.
I thought you were gonna say, "I know what love is, Jenny."
There we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
that-
I was going to go
Jay-
box of chocolates.
Yeah.
but
Life
you
is
guys
like
are
a box of
foodies.
chocolates.
What?
Yeah. Well, you got to run after you eat.
Yeah.
so.
Well, there's so many good quotes in that movie, and just
There's
I
a
mean,
lot.
so many feel good moments, and
Yeah.
obviously the sad parts with Jenny. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get to number 1, we're gonna take a break for our sponsors. When I say sponsors, actually just sponsor, but we'll be right back. All right, we're back, and we're going to go ahead and finish out this top 10 movies list. Going over to TKG, what do you got?
All right. I'm curious if you guys have seen this. It's a weird number one, but my number one would be Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. John Candy,
Yep.
Steve Martin. It is a comedy, but it's so much more than
Wait,
that.
did you go to the festival last year? We showed it on opening night because it was the
No, I did.
anniversary.
I did not make it. No,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
the anniversary of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What do you remember? What?
25th, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a great movie, and the end is what makes it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, being here in Wichita, the famous Pillow Hotel scene is in
Yep.
Wichita. So
Yep. Yep.
1987. Yep.
Quite some time.
All right. Well, not necessarily your top, but since you do it by decades.
I did by
okay,
decades, but I'm still it's my top right now, literally of this year, Past Lives. It just came out in May. It's brand new. It's probably one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a single new movie this year.
Wow.
I've just been busy with stuff. And
Yeah.
if I had to choose a movie I want to see really bad this year, I think, is it Oppenheimer?
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
also
yeah.
good.
That's the one
You
I
should
wanna
also see Barbie.
I just
I
don't know
wanna
if
see
can.
it.
I don't
It's
know.
great.
Yeah.
I rented the only copy from Cinegenic, so I have it at home. But as soon as it's
just came
returned,
out, I saw it did come out on DVD.
Yeah.
I usually wait for everything to come out digitally, and then I buy the digital version and I just watch it from home.
Yeah.
But I lied. I'll probably go see Trolls 3 with my daughter here in the next couple weeks. We do like
that
Trolls
one
at
actually
home.
looks fun.
Yeah, I mean you got NSYNC in it.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Really?
Yeah.
Their big reunion.
My number one, it's on TV all the time. I may have watched this 500 times by now. It's Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, yeah,
course.
that's a favorite
I mean,
too.
yeah, just
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about it. It's just awesome.
Did you
in
read
every
the
single
story
way.
before you saw it?
No,
Stephen King story.
no.
I
I'm not a
did
big
not.
book reader.
Yeah.
I know it's a Stephen King book, but I have never read a book before I went to go watch the movie before. I don't know, maybe the Bible. I had to read that in school, but no, yeah. For the most part, I've never really read like book adaptations or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, Shawshank. Anytime it's on TV, like on TBS or whatever, even if it's like 5 minutes in, 1 hour in, an hour and a half in, I'll stop what I'm doing and just watch it.
Yeah.
You know, I could have put that on my list, and then
Same.
you bringing that up makes me think of other movies that I just didn't even think about to put on my list.
This is why a top 10 list is impossible.
I know, and I bet if we met a year from now,
It'd be totally different.
it'd be totally different.
Yeah.
And Shawshank will still be number one.
yeah.
But I might just change a whole new list to not include any of the past movies because I made a list of like honorable mentions. I don't know if you guys
Ooh.
did, but
I have a few.
I've got one.
what's your one?
Since we're talking about Tallgrass, I figured I'd throw one out. And I think it's been 5 years ago or so at Tallgrass. It was called 17 Blocks, and it's an indie film where they follow. I think he's probably 8 years old, but he's under 10, living in D.C. inner city. And they go back and film him 7 years later, and then go back and film him 7 years later.
Yeah, the 7 series. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so amazing. And going back to what we were talking about with Tallgrass, it's a movie I never would have seen if it wasn't a situation where it's like, okay, I'm here. What movie am I going to see? Here
Yeah.
are your 2 options or 3 options at this time.
Right.
And loved it and has stuck with me all these years later.
Yeah. Those are great to hear those stories. My honorable mention is from a festival in Indie Memphis. I saw Sorry to Bother You, which is Boots Riley. It's one of the most bonkers films you'll ever see.
What's the movie called?
Sorry to Bother You.
Sorry to bother you.
What's it about?
It starts with a telemarketer, and then it just kind of gets all over the place, including people that are turned into horse heads. Like, I can't even explain it to you.
Interesting.
What genre is this? What would you say it is?
Sounds like biopic.
Surrealist. I don't know. It's a
Reality?
biopic. Yeah. Rich people problems. I don't know. Yeah, it's comedy.
What's your honorable mentions, Eddie?
Like I said, I like movies that make you think. Movies like just random endings that you're not really expecting. So it's a list of Usual Suspects.
Oh yeah.
I was back and forth. Actually, was my top 10 going into today, but I took it off. Have you ever seen? Is it The
Butterfly
Fact.
Effect.
Mhm.
Oh
with
yeah, Ashton.
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
love
I love
that
that.
one. Have you ever seen Fallen by Denzel Washington?
Yeah.
I think so.
It's with is it John Goodman?
Yeah.
Where they're walking by, they touch people, and
Yeah.
like this evil spirit transfers from person to
Oh,
person.
Yes.
yes.
It's really crazy. Like they sing this like "Time Is Always on My Side"
Yeah.
song back,
Yeah.
and then the other one is Identity
Oh yeah,
with John Cusack.
that's a good one.
I think I've seen that. I'm not sure.
It's like what is it? People. I just have to watch it.
Okay.
It's been so long since I watched it, and I was like, since I haven't watched it in a while, I can't put it on my list.
Yeah, I have a lot of those.
But that's awesome. I love the guys' list. I have movies now that I can watch, with the holidays coming up. Melanie, any last things you want to share about Tallgrass? Things that you want people to know.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that we still have our micro cinema. It's still new for people, so we hope people will come out and try us.
And how can they find everything about Tallgrass?
Tallgrassfilm.org,
On Facebook and all
the social medias.
the handle is on Facebook?
Tallgrass.
Tallgrass. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, Melanie.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll talk movies or food anytime.
We'll have you back again then for season 2 if we make it that far. But otherwise, thank you all for listening. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, all the things. The Editorial. Thanks for listening.